Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrew. As I mentioned in the last episode, I started talking about feminism and how, although feminism did not create very successful males, the 1% type of idea, like Andrew Tate, just to use an actual example. They are empowering them, and they're empowering them in a bunch of different ways. They're basically giving men no choice as to who they look at as an idol, as someone to look up to, someone to learn from, and so they're going to these men in droves, and some of these men taking advantage of that. They're charging for programs that'll teach you how to be successful in whatever way. I mean, it's absolutely their right to do it, and with no one else to kind of have as someone to look up to. A lot of young men, especially, who are being told constantly that they're evil or horrible, or they're just because they're men, that they don't buy into your side of the argument. So where else can they go? There's only one other side, and that's right into the hands of someone like an Andrew Tate. On top of that, feminism is empowering Andrew Tate with the fact that they're telling women not to settle. They're telling women to go after those top guys. Well, that gives those top guys the power. If women are all into that, of course those men have the power, because it gives them all the choice. And believe me, when it comes to the dating marketplace, choice is power. They can be picky. They can choose whoever they want. Why would they ever settle down with one individual person? No. So there's a lot, unfortunately, I believe feminism is telling women these days that is outright a lie. For instance, they're making women very entitled, and on top of the entitlement, there's this delusion that is happening, and a lot of that is coming from feminists telling women that they're 10s, and it doesn't matter what the woman looks like, they're a 10. That's not true. That's just not true. Inherently, if the average is 5, the majority of women are going to be a 5. That's just how that works. That's why that's called the average. But then being told constantly, oh, you're a 10, you're a 10, you're a 10, means that they're going to aim a lot higher for the type of man that they want to get, because women are hypergamous. They want a better man than themselves. They want to be equal, but they want a better man. It's kind of that doesn't quite work, but okay, we'll pretend for a second. But they want that better man, and they have a list of demands that they want from this man, and feminism again is telling them, hey, don't give in, don't settle. If a man has 9 out of the 10 things you want, and he's a really nice dude, but he doesn't have that 10th thing, don't go for him. And that's a huge mistake, and it's costing women a lot, I believe. First of all, there aren't that many men out there that have your demands. If you want a guy that's 6 foot and makes $100,000 a year, that's approximately 1% of the population. That doesn't include his age, so there will be a lot of 50 and 60-year-olds that you're probably not into as a young woman. There may be gay men that are in that 1%. There may be married men that are in that 1% who don't want you. So it's not even 1% really. On top of that, then they have to have this, and this, and this, and you've created an idea of a man that doesn't exist. And so if you keep looking, you're going to keep looking, and you're going to be very alone. And unfortunately, women, and I've seen this in my group of friends, I've seen this online when these women post and start crying, usually in their cars, about how I just want to settle down and make a family, and there's no good guys. No, there are good guys. You just ignored them, and so now they're ignoring you. That's the big problem. So the fact that feminism is telling you this as a woman, they are very much leading you astray. Now, if you want to do those things, fine. Like, I'm not. Who am I to judge what you do? I do stupid things. I will talk about that in a future video. Believe me, I said at the beginning of this, I'm going to hold myself and everyone else accountable. This is me holding feminists accountable. I will be holding myself accountable later. Just you wait. But it is an issue, and they've also said things like, being an OF model. I don't want to say more than that. I don't know how YouTube is going to feel about it. Or even just being super promiscuous. Feminism tells women that they're empowered for doing it, but basically all it does when those women do that is it objectifies those women who then complain about being objectified. I'm going to talk about OF in another episode of this, believe me, but ladies, you're putting a price on an image of you. That's literally the definition of objectifying yourself. So yes, these men are going to objectify you, and quite honestly, although they sell you this lie that you can make millions and millions, that's like literally like 0.1% of OF models that make that amount. Most make barely anything. You're lucky if you make enough for it to be like $2,000 a month, which isn't a whole lot when you think about it. It also decreases the likelihood that you're going to get married, or you're even going to have a relationship. This is another thing that feminists do. They shame men for preferences. It's okay for a woman to want a man who's 6 foot or taller, but it's not okay for a man to want a woman who is a certain weight or lower. The difference, by the way, men don't get to choose their height, but ladies, you can choose, to work out. You can choose what you put in your mouth. I know that's very fat phobic of me. Guess what? I'm fat, and I made the choice to put stuff in my mouth that I shouldn't have, and so now I'm in the process of losing weight and making myself much more physically healthy. That was my choice. That is my consequence. And all men's preferences are, and there's this bullshit idea out there that all men want to date a adult entertainment model type of thing, or star. As you can see, I'm tiptoeing around words, but that's not actually true. I won't say all, but I think a lot of men would fantasize about having an adult sexual relationship with that woman. However, most men would never put a ring on her finger. And that's a thing, ladies, that you seem to have a hard time understanding. A guy will have a sexual relationship with any woman. You're only actually valuable to that guy if he puts a ring on your finger and asks you to marry him. A guy at the top, and Andrew Tate and men like him, can have a different woman every day of the week for years on end. You're just like the rest of them if you're going for that. And if you are, what, so be it. Again, I don't actually judge you for it. I don't judge you if you're an OF model. I would never personally date you. I'm not interested in that. That's one of my preferences when dating. However, if you do it, again, I'm not trying to stop you. I'm not trying to tell you what's right and wrong. If you feel like you should do it, go for it. Just understand that there are consequences to every choice we make in life. I'm going to talk about a couple consequences of my own that have affected me when I talk about myself and hold myself accountable. But again, it's that lie that feminism tries to tell, that, oh yeah, this is a good thing for you. It only has a negative. Long term, like short term, it can be great. You can make money, but long term, it's going to only have negative consequences. Look at how many adult entertainment stars have come out recently and said, oh, I wish I never got into this. I can't find a man. No man wants to marry me or even date me. That should tell you something. That should tell you something about men's preference. And you can say that means men are insecure. No, that just means that men have the similar preference. Like, a lot of women want a tall guy who makes money. A man wants, a good-looking woman who, doesn't have, a past that might embarrass him. And being an OF model or an adult entertainment actress, that could embarrass him. So, again, you're really being lied to by the people whispering in your ear. And it's weird how these people are whispering in your ear, oh, do it's great, when they're not doing it. If it was so great, why aren't they doing it? But, hey, that's just, And this whole idea that feminism is pushing these days, men are evil, men are trash, we don't need men, blah, 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 blah. I thought you wanted to be equal to men, but men are trash? Does that mean you want to be trash too? Weird. You're fighting for equality to men, but men are evil, horrible, trash. So, again, where's the equality? We don't need men. That's just laughable to me. Number one, men run the infrastructure of every city on Earth. We hold like 99% of infrastructure jobs. You don't need men. I hope you don't mind. You don't need electricity because we run the power plants. I hope you don't. You don't need things to be transported from one place to another because the majority of that is men doing that. You don't need plumbing or sewer treatment or anything like that, right? Because that's, again, majority of men in the 90+% range. All those jobs are men. And what happens if you don't have men? I hate to tell you this, but sperm banks will only last for so long, and then the species is doomed to exist, or doomed to go extinct, I should say. And what happens with those sperm banks? Are you only going to have women, or are you going to have male children and tell them they're horrible and blackmail them like you're trying to do now? And tell them that, oh, that action, because you're a male, that you naturally want to do that is wrong. Because that's what you're doing. And it even goes further than just like lying to women about these types of things. Women are now fully using feminism to prey on men. So there are female bullies at schools now that will just come up and slap a man knowing that there will be zero consequence to them. They don't get charged with assault. They don't get suspended. But they also know that if the man or the male kid hits them back, that male kid will get in trouble. That's not equality. If a woman slaps a man, she should understand that she is open to being slapped back. Now, I am not suggesting that that's what happens. I'm not suggesting violence in any way, shape, or form. I would never hit a woman, even if they hit me. That being said, if I'm being attacked by a woman, I am going to hold on to her, because if I get a good grip on her, she's not going anywhere. If I have to, I'll put her on the ground and hold her there until she either calms down or until, police officers come. And even then, I am aware that I am much more likely to be arrested in that situation than she is. Because, again, that's not equality. There are people out there that, equal rights means equal lefts. And in a way, they're right. That's what it should mean. However, I am also aware as a man, even if that woman, punches me as hard as she can, it's going to do significantly less damage if I do the same, as if I did the same to her. So I'm not going to hit that woman. I'm not saying we should, as men, hit women. I wonder though, and again, I'm not advocating for this at all. I do wonder if women started getting, hit when they hit men, if they would actually decide that maybe this isn't a good idea, and maybe learn a lesson. But again, I don't think that's the right way to go about it, guys. I wouldn't personally hit a woman. And even something as simple as asking regular average men out on dates. These men are very desperate. They generally don't get much action in terms of dating websites. And so there will be women who ask these men out on dates. There have been newspaper articles of a woman that for like 2 years just asked men out on dates and never had to pay for food in that 2-year time span. That's predatory. But why aren't feminists saying that that's wrong?